I'm very glad to meet you. Is this your first time at one of my lectures? Have you ever listened to my lectures before?
It's my first time here, but I've listened to your lectures before. My question isn't about me, it's about my second cousin.
Will she follow my advice if I say something now? Well, this might be her last chance. You have to understand, if you're asking on her behalf and she doesn't listen to my lectures, then she won't follow what I tell you. We'll just be wasting our time.
It's about her health. I suggested her to go to your clinic.
Our clinic is online. You can't physically go there. There are two things you need to know. I have a methodology for cleansing the subtle energy body. The methodology is based on ancient medicine's belief that all diseases come from a lack of energy in the body. Energy comes from the subtle energy body. There are three types of energy: water energy, air energy, and sun energy. Not the sun, air, and water themselves, but their energies. For each person, the lack of these energies leads to depletion of internal organs first, and then the mechanism of chronic diseases is triggered. This happens because the organ cannot withstand the stress of interaction with nature and other factors. That's roughly how it works. If we analyze your energy structure, mainly, there's a lack of air energy. This means willpower functions suffer, weakness in the body, tension, stiffness, and there are also energy layers. You have a strong lack of air energy in your second energy layer. I call this a blockage. The energy doesn't flow normally there. This affects the mucous membranes in the body. Digestion suffers immediately. That's why you're thin. The second energy layer is connected with mucous membranes. Your body doesn't properly absorb food. And the fourth energy layer is affected. The fourth energy layer is responsible for the spine and joints. There's a lot going on there. In particular, you have a weak spine, and your hip joints are also weak. I'm just telling you about you. Your cousin has the same issues with her own specific problems. But to restore them, you specifically need to engage in prolonged, continuous movement. Scheduled walking. She, on the other hand, needs her own specific regimen. I gave you this example so you understand that she won't do what I'm going to say now, and therefore my words will be meaningless.
Even if she turns to you?
How can she turn to me if she doesn't listen to my lectures?
So first, she needs to start listening to the lectures?
Faith is the foundation. People come for the first time. I talk about the subtle energy body. They listen and think, this is some kind of schizophrenia. If someone's unfamiliar with this ancient medical knowledge, they can't follow the recommendations. They don't even understand why they should. Yesterday in Yekaterinburg, we ran at minus 23 degrees. We ran 17 kilometers. And in Samara, before that, at minus 20 degrees, we also swam in an ice hole. We ran, then swam in the ice hole. But in Yekaterinburg, there weren't proper facilities, so we didn't get into the water. These people are trained. It's not like anyone can just start running in the freezing cold. There's a structured system for becoming healthy. I've documented it in a methodological guide. It has to be studied. You start by lying in water, then do stationary position of the body, then prolonged continuous movement like walking, then fasting, establishing a daily routine, proper nutrition. It's all interconnected, but your cousin won't do this. Therefore, there is only one way to help, for you to pray for her so that she goes through the path that you went through. You made it to this hole because you went through your life path. It began for you a year and 7 months ago, when some events happened in your life and you started to change your life. You don't know? Think about it. This period when your life began to change, this is what I see. And you're here now as a result. But your cousin won't listen to advice.
Thank you.
That's why I asked you right away.
Hello. I have a question. I've been living with a man for 3 years.
That's already incorrect. You should live with a husband, not with a man. Because if you live with a man, you don't take responsibility. You're afraid to conceive children. You get tired of each other because there's distrust. If there's no marriage certificate, there's no trust. If there's no trust, there's no love.
I want to, but he doesn't.
That was your mistake. You should have set conditions for him first and then lived together, not the other way around. You should have pushed him, pressured him until he went to the registry office.
What should I do now?
You're losing him. He's already started to distance himself from you. He doesn't care anymore. He treats you with indifference. The reason is an incorrect way of living. The man got what he wanted, enjoyed a woman's body. What else does he need? Only another woman, that's all. Therefore, you need to clearly understand how this works. No responsibility means no family. All women who start intimate relationships with men without marriage, all of them will end up in this same situation. You still have time. You must set conditions. Stop having intimate relations with him and observe him. If he reaches out to you, then the condition is marriage. If you don't do this now, in 7 months it will be too late. It's not too late now.
I understand. On another note, I practice stationary position of the body. I do yoga. I pray.
Do you lie in water? There is general static tension. It's removed by water, and there are blockages. You cleanse the blockages well, but you still have them on the 4th energy layer. That means you sit in a static position for about 40 minutes, don't you?
Yes.
You sit for 40 minutes, cleanse 3 energy layers, but on the 4th energy layer there's a strong blockage, a static tension. You don't cleanse it. You need 65 minutes.
What if I start losing consciousness?
That's exactly why. There's a very strong blockage there. That's why you lose consciousness. To avoid losing consciousness, you need to start by lying in water, because when you have strong general static tension, it's very difficult to cleanse blockages. General static tension is a lack of water energy in the body. It manifests as sensitivity, vulnerability. It affects your personal life, and this is another reason why your relationship is deteriorating. Because you get tired of the person, get nervous, get irritated with him. And to avoid irritation, you need to have enough energy for the person. If you don't have enough energy for the person, there won't be a life together. When there's enough water energy, a person feels calm. Am I behaving calmly? I have enough, because I sit in an ice hole. An ice hole has very strong water energy, the strongest there is.
And how long should one stay in the water?
28 degrees, 70 minutes. This is for the 5 energy layers. Go swimming in a pool once a week.
Not every day?
Of course, not every day. Do static exercises 4 times a week.
I used to do it every day before.
Every day is also fine, but if you only do static exercises without water, then you're using up subtle water energy again. Because static exercises circulate water energy, balance it, cleanse energetic blockages, purify everything, and harmonize the body. And water must be replenished. It only comes through water, so you need to be in water.
I understand, thank you.
You are amphibious, you need water, but that's not all. Do you practice prolonged continuous movement?
Do you mean swimming?
No, walking.
Once a month.
That won't work. This doesn't work. If you walked, then stopped, the cleansing doesn't work. Cleansing means continuous movement, and you also have a dynamic blockage in the 2nd energy layer. You've removed the static blockage. The general tension remains. It needs to be released, and your intestines will feel better, but the dynamic blockage remains. It's 48 minutes multiplied by 2, which is 1 hour and 40 minutes. You need to walk once every 3 days. And this way you'll only be cleansing 2 energy layers, but you need all 5. Therefore, it's best to walk for 4 hours once every 6 days. And this will cleanse all 5 energy layers, but at least deal with the 2nd energy layer for now. Only after 4 months of following a walking schedule once every 4 days will you break through this blockage, and your illness will begin to heal.
Right now, there are no symptoms.
Everyone treats it this way. People calm this organ, remove inflammation, but no energy flows there. It's depleted. That's why sensitivity is high. You do something slightly wrong, and everything immediately becomes bad. There are also other factors here. If you eat bread at night, on one hand it creates toxins in the body and excess weight, and on the other hand, it irritates the intestines and causes these problems that you currently have. White bread at night is completely unsuitable for you. You need to replace it with rice, for example, which works for you. Wheat doesn't suit you at all. It's a poor match.
Is sweet food also forbidden?
Not at night. This is static tension. When a person has general static tension, they can't fall asleep in the evening. Sleep is disturbed, and women crave sweets. For men, general static tension manifests as alcohol or women. Sexual desire increases significantly. For women, sensitivity and vulnerability increase. You need to remove this tension and live a normal life.
What if nervousness is very strong?
This is exactly what general static tension is. Lack of water energy. Water calms a person. They become as calm as a tank.
I see.
Well done for understanding everything. Who here really needs a consultation? Do you need one? Why didn't you raise your hand before?
I did raise it.
Go ahead.
My husband and I have a 20-year age difference. We've been married for 5 years. He's older, and our relationship is getting worse and worse, and now he's 60 years old.
I'm 59. It doesn't depend on age, but on how a person lives. I don't feel old. I ran 17 kilometers in an hour and 50 minutes with an average pulse rate. Just ran in the frost with 144 beats per minute. Well, that's normal. A healthy, good body, but he's not like that anymore. Because his lifestyle is different now, you see? That's why the relationship starts to deteriorate.
He tries to do practices, chant japa and yoga, but it seems to distance us, and he pressures me to do all this too. But I have a different routine with the children.
How many children do you have?
2.
Well, that's good. A good family. You're going through a bad period right now. Not him, but you. It increases sensitivity. You become very vulnerable, moody, sensitive. This period will last another 9 months, and it can destroy your family. In 3 months, you'll want to run away from him. You already want to run away.
We've been living separately for 4 months. He came for 2 days and left again. He says, "I can't handle you arguing with me."
Yes, because you're having tantrums. You need water, swimming in a pool at 28 degrees for 70 minutes, perform static exercises. In the second energy layer, you have severe blockages, static and dynamic tension. They cause very constrained emotions, strong emotional tension. You're very emotionally drained. It's difficult for you to even talk to me, although I'm treating you normally. It's generally difficult for you to communicate with people. This depletion needs to be treated. You lack energy. You need water. You need prolonged, continuous movement. Your body lacks water and air energy. You're going through a bad astrological period right now. Life is very difficult for you now. Are you eating properly?
As best I can, I'm living alone with the children now.
You don't have an appetite, right?
I have an appetite, but I can't manage everything. I can't establish a routine.
The second energy layer is the mucous membrane, and it will affect the absorption of substances. Have you had your blood tested for anemia?
Anemia, yes, I've had it throughout my life.
And that's because food isn't being absorbed. You need to treat the second energy layer. Otherwise, you'll have anemia, weakness, thinness, you'll lose weight, and emotional instability will increase. This will destroy your family later.
It seems to me that he's angry and unbalanced, but it turns out it only seems that way. I have my issues, and he has his. He reacts very sharply.
Mentally, a woman is several times stronger than a man. If her behavior is incorrect, she won't even understand why it's happening. You reacted in a certain way, and he immediately got defensive. Because a signal came from you, hit his psyche, it stressed him out, and he's a very principled person, strict, serious, and he doesn't like such emotions. He wants you to obey him. Always nod your head. Yes, my dear.
That's very difficult for me.
This is always difficult for any woman. If a man doesn't behave gently, tenderly, then a woman rebels. She starts to behave like a tigress. And therefore it's difficult for any woman. This is the topic of our conversation today, conflicts. But you need to understand, why does he react? You think, am I doing something bad to him?
He doesn't like when I approach him in any way.
Yes, you should behave with gentleness and kindness, but this requires strength, and you don't have it. You're destroying your family now, because you're not bringing happiness to your loved one with your behavior. But for the next 3 months, you definitely won't be able to bring happiness. Because your energy is at 0 right now, not enough even for yourself, not enough for the children, and you need to replenish it and learn a healthy lifestyle. On the website, Torsunov.ru, there's a materials section. There's a materials header at the top if you access it from a computer. On the phone, it's not always visible. And then further, there's a methodical health guide. You need to download it and see what needs to be done to remove tension. Remember static tension, dynamic tension in the second energy layer, which is connected with emotions and mucous membranes. The same goes for immunity, hence colds can also undermine your health. Therefore, all this needs to be studied. It all affects your personal life as well, because emotions are very tense and there are no normal relationships. It is a bad period for personal life for another 3 months. Living together is impossible during this time. Always tell him that you want to be with him. Do not push him away, because he might leave you completely.
He is sending me to live with my parents now because he cannot live with me.
Yes, he cannot, because you are in such a state.
Is it correct that I should start with a routine?
You need to fill yourself with energy. You are becoming more exhausted and losing, destroying your family right now. He is generally a calm person. He is a calm person, but with principles he cannot tolerate when a woman kicks up a fuss, to put it in simple terms. It is very difficult for him to endure this. His self-esteem cannot withstand such behavior. How long have you been living together?
It has been 5 years now.
2 children in 5 years?
Yes, I am very tired.
That is another reason. 2 children in 5 years. That is also serious exhaustion. Are you alone with the children or with someone? Were your parents with you too? Did anyone help you?
My parents are in another city.
You are alone with 2 children and always alone, right?
Recently, I have been alone. Before that, he helped.
Still, one woman cannot handle a child alone. You need to have your mother there or some other woman because female energy is needed.
Now I have started having a helper who comes once a week. I realized that I cannot cope at all.
Female energy is needed. When a child is born, female energy is needed. When there is no woman around, the woman gets exhausted and starts having tantrums. A woman has 3 stages of illness. The first stage, she is sick. The second, very sick. The third, a widow. The husband died and she is still sick. The sicker a woman is, the worse it is for her husband. That is the law. A woman always transfers all her burden to a man, mentally. You are putting him under mental tension now, but you are exhausted. You cannot cope with your children, with your life. You are burned out. You need to start a healthy lifestyle, fill yourself with energy. Understand? Here is an orange for you. Well done.
I was set up with him, so I still have some doubts.
You have good compatibility. Your intimate compatibility is below average. Your moon compatibility is good. Sun is also good, but Saturn compatibility is bad. This means you get tired of each other when you are together, according to Saturn. Mercury compatibility is average. It is a bit difficult to be friends with each other. Mars compatibility is also bad, indicating conflict. Jupiter compatibility is good, showing common interest in life. Overall, your compatibility is slightly above average, normal, quite good compatibility. You have a sense of kinship toward each other. There is a feeling of family. He loves your children too. Everything is fine. You have doubts because you are having a very difficult time right now, and you have started to doubt. You should definitely go to an astrologer. They will tell you that you are not compatible, that you will have 2 or 3 marriages. Or you should go to old grumpy ladies who will tell you that you are doomed to be lonely. And also visit some schizophrenic. You need confirmation now that you cannot live with him. Dr. Torsunov did not give you this confirmation, but you need to keep looking.
I understand.
Excellent, I am glad. You currently lack energy. You are looking for a reason. You do not need to look for it. You just need to change your life, change your lifestyle. You have become exhausted during this time, plus it is a bad period, and you are driving your husband crazy. You need to do healing practices.
Start fasting?
No need for fasting, water, static exercises, at least 1 hour, 40 minutes of walking. Read the methodical guide, do everything. Most people suffer from lack of energy. We have not even reached the level of relationships yet. There is an energy level like the foundation of a house. Without a foundation, the house collapses. Without energy, there is no life. We do not even reach the level of relationships. I am not even telling you how to behave with a man, because that requires strength, and you have no strength. 2 emaciated people are crawling. One hits his head on the floor. The other says, "We agreed to just run, but you are doing hurdles." Without energy, there is no life. The second energy layer of life is social, building relationships properly. You need to understand how to behave with a woman, how to behave with a man. The third energy layer of life is spiritual. You need to understand that if a person does not strive toward God, everything in life will collapse anyway. One woman asked me, "We have been together for 40 years. Why did he leave for another woman?" If there is no worship of God at home, all men always leave women, because there is no conscience. A woman ages, while young girls are all around. You can find someone 20 years younger, no problem, so sooner or later he will leave. That is why you need an altar at home. You need prayer for a person to stay. Otherwise, the family inevitably falls apart. That is why their family broke up.
Regarding health, when I was diagnosed with varicose veins in the uterus after my second birth, was this also all static tension?
This is all a bit different, but it will be difficult for you to figure it out right now. This is in the third energy layer where the blood vessels are located. There is also a dynamic blockage and negative attitude. They are also connected. This affects the vessels in the lower part of the body. This can affect the uterus, it can affect the legs, hemorrhoids. All of these are in the risk zone. Now there is tension, the body is tense, but we will not start with this right now. First, water, static exercises, walking for at least 2 energy layers. These will solve all issues. Then you will figure this out too.
Thank you very much.
My dears, while people are gathering, we have answers to questions. Yes? You also want to ask something? Go ahead.
Please tell me how to build a relationship with my sister. She is older than me, by 3 years.
And how old are you?
77 years old, soon to be 78 years old.
Is she already 80 years old? Your sister is 80 years old?
Yes.
How to build a relationship with her at your age? She is quite elderly. You just need to love her, that is all. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do not bother her. She is already at an advanced age. The older a person is, the less strength they have to live. Your sister has become very irritable. She is going through a bad period now, severe internal tension. She is very, very irritable. Most likely she only has about 1.5 years left to live. Her bad period will pass in 1.5 years. She is getting worse and worse now. She is losing strength. She started losing strength 6 months ago, becoming weaker, getting nervous, arguing. You just need to understand that the person has very little time left to live, and you should just treat her kindly, with love. This is how we should part ways with each other, with love and kindness, without demanding anything from the person at this time. When we lose our loved ones, we regret not giving enough love, happiness, and care. Pray for her, treat her kindly, and don't expect anything from her right now. She is mentally struggling. She's barely living.
Thank you. May I ask another question about my younger brother?
Have you been raising him your whole life? I can see your relationship. You feel like the elder, raising him. He doesn't listen to you, right?
It's hard. He's in the military and I'm a civilian. Basically, he doesn't listen.
Okay, so what's your question? He respects you. He treats you well.
But I don't really.
That's the problem.
Thank you. You've enlightened me.
You need to treat him kindly. He's not as spiritually developed as you are. He doesn't understand much in that area. He's just a regular person living a regular life. Pray for him.
Thank you.
He won't be able to understand you. His intellect isn't as strong. He's kind by nature, but his intellect is weak. He won't be able to grasp the deep truths that live in your consciousness. He just won't be able to. But if you pray for him, you will help him in his life.
Thank you.
But most importantly, pray for your sister now. Soon you will part ways. In 6 months you will see it yourself. She will start to weaken significantly and will stop walking.
Hello, Dr. Torsunov. I have a question about my family. My wife left. It all started in April.
Do you sleep at night?
In 1 to 1.5 hour stretches.
Is your appetite normal?
No.
Do you sleep for an hour or hour and a half, or are the breaks an hour or hour and a half?
I sleep for an hour or hour and a half and then wake up again.
You are in a state of stress right now. A stressful state is when a person constantly loses strength. She left for someone else, right? So you still love her?
Yes, I love her.
What is her name?
Alice.
And yours?
Damien.
Right now, I don't know what advice to give you about the future, but at this moment, you need to understand something. Every woman wants to be spoken to with kindness, gentleness, and tenderness. Just living together is not enough. A woman needs love. She is born for love. Simply earning money and being a faithful husband isn't enough. A woman can feel lonely, bored. She needs emotional connection. She wants affection, attention, and care. She needs to feel that she is loved. Every woman waits for love in her life. You are the kind of person who is a bit withdrawn. You have your own life, somewhat isolated.
There was a time when I got fully focused on earning money. I thought if I brought money home, everything would be fine.
She waited and waited for a relationship. First she fell into depression, then began to look for some way out and found another person. I don't see her coming back. You need to accept this fact of your fate. You need to understand that you are stressed because you are not deeply connected to God. The purpose of human life is God. You became very attached to your family, to your wife. That's why you lost everything. There is such a concept as love-faith. When a person falls into this state of love-faith, they always lose their loved one, because you should only believe in God. When you believe in a person, they deteriorate, lose themselves.
Does this mean that what I'm doing now won't help?
Are you in contact with her?
Yes.
Does she talk to you?
Yes.
What does she say?
Initially, when all this started, I thought that there was really a stone in her heart and no feelings. Then gradually I began to notice that she cried when we met. She cried at the divorce. When the court was already in session, she gave the last word in court. It
all depends on those relationships. What kind of relationship does she have with this person? I might be wrong. Tell me what kind of relationship. Are they good?
I don't know what kind of relationship.
And what do the children say?
She left for him and took her son. The daughter lives nearby. She's 7, and my son is 10. The daughter lives nearby, with my mother-in-law.
If your wife communicates with you, transition the relationship to friendship. Help her, take care of her. If you can become friends with her and just be kind to her, you will preserve the family. In 8 to 9 months, she may start returning to you. It will be a slow process, but gradually she will return. But you need to understand that just as with your wife, it's the same with your daughter. She is also distant from you. You don't invest in relationships. You think that people only need money.
It's hard for me to communicate with her and the children.
You need to communicate with your daughter. She lives near you, so help her. Take care of her. Through your daughter, you will get your wife back. Communicate with your daughter. Communicate with your son. First, restore relationships with your children, then your wife will follow. The reason for the destruction of your family is your detachment from it. You didn't invest in relationships with your loved ones. This is the result you got. Your wife became disappointed in you. She lost faith in the relationship. What you told me is very good news, that she talks to you. Now you need to change your relationship with your daughter very strongly, and things will start going in your favor. And what kind of relationship do you have with your mother-in-law?
I have a strained relationship with her too.
If you win your mother-in-law over to your side, if you become good to her, then the result is 100% guaranteed. Your mother-in-law and daughter are the two objects of your attention right now. You are a very internal person, very deep. In monasteries, such people are well suited, living alone with yourself, praying to God, thinking about Him. But you need to learn relationships to communicate. People need love. You are a loyal person, but you won't be able to explain to them that you are loyal. You won't be able to. You simply need to come, communicate, talk. Otherwise, people won't understand. They won't feel your love if you don't transmit it. Good. Okay, Tatiana said we need to begin. I obey her will. So, we are talking about conflicts. I'm happy to see you all. We have an interesting topic. We are talking about conflicts. There are several reasons for conflicts. The first reason, which we have heard many times here, is the lack of energy. Let's take a simple example. A little baby is crying. What is the mother thinking about? What are the options? Let's list them. The baby is hungry. If they are not, don't take the breast, still cry. Might want to sleep. So, you lay them down, and they don't want to sleep.
Something hurts.
No, nothing hurts.
Wants to be held.
Crying while being held. Maybe they need to go outside. They need fresh air. Agreed? When you went for a walk, the baby fell asleep and everything is fine. What does this mean? There's a lack of energy. For example, a dog is standing by the door barking. Why is it barking? It lacks energy, right? Who goes for walks in the parks with dogs with small children? Grandmothers and grandfathers, because if they don't walk, they will die. They have no choice. There is also a lack of energy in young people. When people are deeply in love, the energy exchange is strong, and they need to go outside, into nature. They can't stay indoors because they don't have enough strength. The energy for love is lacking. They need to go outside. Old ladies, people in love, young children, and dogs. Why don't the others go for walks? Because they don't feel the lack as strongly. When a person leads an active life, they still go to work in the fresh air. Movement itself, activity itself, nourishes a person, because when a person engages in prolonged, continuous movement, they absorb the energy of nature. Even if they are doing it indoors, they are still absorbing this energy. When a person gets older, they can no longer just absorb energy. They need to go out into the fresh air, otherwise they will die. And they feel this. They lack strength, so they crawl out and go outside. A little child grows rapidly. They can't stay at home. They must go outside. Otherwise, they won't develop normally. They won't have enough energy. The dog also feels that it needs to go outside. But we don't feel it. A person engages in work and activity gradually lose their energy. They become stiff, very tense, and tension accumulates. Also, willpower starts to deplete. It becomes difficult to get out of bed, and it is difficult to fall asleep. And when internal tension peaks and willpower suffers, a person starts smoking. Even if they understand that smoking is dangerous to health, they start drinking coffee. There's not much difference. Coffee contains caffeine, and this coffee or smoking creates the sensation that everything is fine because the subtle energy body and the physical body need to be in sync. Our subtle energy body also needs nourishment. Just like we eat food, it must be nourished by three energies: water energy, air energy, and sun energy. Sun energy doesn't necessarily mean living in Sochi. It is transmitted through a joyful mood. When people are happy, sun energy is transmitted. Air energy is obtained through movement in fresh air. Water energy comes from contact with water. When there is a lack of water energy, a person becomes irritable, restless. This will undoubtedly affect relationships. Water energy is spent when a person feels offended, angry, or is in despair. There is a lot of despair now because of the situation in the world. This drains water energy. Water energy gives peace to a person. When a person works physically or mentally, they use air energy. Air energy is depleted, and the willpower factor becomes suppressed. This means that not only is a person unable to push themselves to do something, but they also cannot engage with others because simply talking to someone requires activating the willpower factor. If you don't have it, and you've exhausted yourself at work for the sake of the family, you come home and simply sit down and watch TV. You smoke, don't you, sir?
Yes, I smoke.
Do you drink coffee?
No.
If a person is exhausted and there is a significant lack of air energy, they start drinking coffee, smoking, and endlessly watching television. Because it's also a certain kind of boost. When there's action going on, when everyone is killing each other, it feels like you're a part of the action. The most important thing is that everything happens quickly, that everyone is winning, overcoming, fighting, and shouting, "Hooray!" If all of this is happening, it feels like you're acting too, and it makes you feel better. It's a form of self-deception, self-suggestion. But in reality, in order to fill up with air energy and break the problem called coldness in relationships, movement is necessary. Coldness in relationships means a lack of this air energy. You need to activate your willpower through prolonged, continuous movement in fresh air. When a person does prolonged, continuous movement, their body gradually replenishes air energy. It doesn't replenish in 1 second, it takes time. Then once it's replenished, it starts affecting your mental functions, and you gain the ability to approach a loved one, say something, start communication. How are conflicts connected to energy deficiencies? Exactly the same way as with a baby. A baby screams, that's a conflict. The baby's crying, is that a conflict? It is a subconscious conflict. The baby is crying. It means something is lacking. If a wife is having a tantrum, it also means something is lacking. When a man lacks water energy, he starts nitpicking, getting angry, losing his temper. If a husband is irritated and angry, it's a sign of water energy deficiency. What's the difference between an adult and a child in this regard? A child just screams. Take them outside and they calm down immediately. But an adult doesn't fully understand what the problem is. Thinking becomes easier when breathing becomes easier. This is called prana. Prana is life force. There's oxygen, the gas we breathe, and then there's prana, the energy that gives us the ability to live and act. This prana also affects our relationships. Like in the song, "You're as cold as an iceberg in the ocean." Is that about a relationship or not? It is. Why does it get like that? Because there's a lack of prana. When prana is lacking, what's needed is prolonged, continuous movement. You can talk all you want about positive thinking and mental techniques, but let me give you a simple example. A person hits their head on the wall and forgets they need to eat. It happens. They lose their memory. They go to a psychologist and say, "I have a problem. My hands shake. I feel weak and constantly tired. I'm very irritable." And the psychologist says, "You need to cultivate kindness toward others. Live in harmony. Tell yourself, 'I am calm.'" They come back the next time and say, "I feel a little better. I'm calm, but my hands are shaking even more and I feel even weaker." What does this person need? They need to eat and everything will be fine. One of the core problems of modern culture is that people have driven themselves indoors away from nature. When there's no sky overhead, energy doesn't enter the body and the person becomes depleted. And we get used to this depleted state. But in such a depleted state, relationships don't function. A person simply cannot function normally without energy. The physical body is nourished by food, while the subtle energy body is nourished by energy, solar energy, air energy, and water energy. These three energies are necessary in order to be happy, healthy, and to build strong relationships. Water energy brings calmness. Air energy gives the ability to connect and interact. It provides willpower. It dispels restlessness. Focus, productivity, the ability to overcome life's challenges and achieve goals, these all come from air energy. Sun energy gives a person love and beauty. What does this expression mean? It refers to a person who embodies beauty, like the radiant energy of the sun. For a woman, the sun manifests as beauty. Her eyes shine with fire, her cheeks become rosy. Beauty means she begins to love others. Sun energy flows into love for people. Women start enjoying the company of others. And how does a man feel sun energy? He begins to feel joy. He becomes happy and cheerful. And a woman becomes more beautiful. Water energy calms a person. Samara, the little town, I'm so restless. Please calm me down. 3 energies. When there's a lack of sun energy, depression sets in. Psychologists try to address this. They say, you need to change your perspective. But if you're hungry, it doesn't matter how much you change your mindset, you'll still want to eat. The same goes for the body. It craves energy. It needs nature. Without it, there's no life. I'll talk about relationships too. But right now I'm starting with the foundation, because without strength, there can be no relationship. That's something everyone needs to understand clearly. If you say, I'm irritable, I can't even look at him, that means you're lacking water energy. You should start lying in water with a temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. That's the coolest temperature still considered comfortable. At 29 degrees, the water is already warm. But if even 29-degree water feels cold to you, it means you're in deep need of water energy. Your reaction to it shows that your system is already in a state of dysregulation. If you enter water at 28 degrees and feel that it's slightly cool and pleasant, this means your body is still capable of normally absorbing water energy. And if at 28 degrees a person feels tension, it means the body is depleted and it can't properly absorb the energy of water. If you want complete calmness, then you need to learn to sit in an ice hole. The purest and strongest water energy comes from icy water. For example, in Samara, people run when it's 26 degrees Celsius below zero, and then they immerse themselves in an ice hole where the water is about 0.5 degrees. 4.5 minutes is enough to cleanse the entire subtle energy body. You shouldn't just jump in and jump out right away. You have to sit there and then warm up in hot water or a sauna. But you won't be able to do it if your body is maladapted. It simply can't absorb water energy. But if the body is truly able to absorb water energy at the level of an ice hole, then your inner calmness becomes unshakable. If your body can absorb the energy of water from an ice hole, then all resentment flies out of your heart. If someone offended you, just sit in the ice hole, think about that person, and the resentment instantly disappears from your mind. Your heart becomes rock-solid calm. Even if someone knocks you off balance, you quickly regain your composure. The energy of will comes from prolonged, continuous movement. When a person moves for a long time, they are filled with willpower. They gain the ability to follow a daily routine. They can make themselves get up early, go to bed on time, focus on their work, and quit bad habits. They have the strength of will because this is air energy, or in Sanskrit it is called prana. Prana also gives a person the ability to connect with others. If someone struggles to connect with people, it means they lack air energy. If a man lacks the energy of air, he won't even have the strength to go up and introduce himself to a woman. He simply won't have the willpower. He won't have the strength to live. Sun energy is responsible for a person's ambitions. A woman's beauty is her ambition. Beautiful means radiant, sun-filled. For men, ambition is the ability to win, to overcome difficulties, to achieve their goals. An ambitious man strongly believes that he will succeed. He is cheerful and optimistic. How does sun energy function in relationships? In women, it expresses itself in tenderness and kindness toward others. In men, it expresses itself in encouragement. He uplifts his woman and helps her feel optimistic. A man's psychological function is tied to optimism, while a woman's to tenderness, kindness, connection. Sun energy flows through these relationship dynamics. Masculine sun energy encourages. Feminine sun energy is kindness, tenderness, gentle affection. These are also forms of sun energy. If a woman lacks sun energy, what happens? She is no longer gentle, no longer affectionate. She behaves harshly. A man becomes pessimistic. This is what it looks like when a person lacks sun energy. They look at the world and don't like anything. They feel that everything is bad. That's a lack of sun energy. How do you build a relationship with such a person? Will there be conflict? Such a person is always in negativity. Negative emotions, negative thoughts, a negative attitude. Everything is wrong. They're constantly grumbling. Can a relationship be built like that? Can such a person be happy in their personal life? No? Why? Because their energy is moving incorrectly inside. They carry sadness. They can't even see anything anymore. They look and people are shouting, "Hooray!" Do you know what hooray means? Ha means upward, and Ra means sun. Hooray means sun up. When the sun rises, people feel joy, birds sing, roosters crow. Wake up, curly one, in the ringing workshops. The country rises with glory to meet the day. Morning greets us with coolness. Sunny songs bring the mood of the sun rising. When the sun rises, there is joy. It means we rejoice. We share happiness with each other. If we wake up late in the morning, will we feel that joy? If a person wakes up after 6 a.m., they lose their connection with the sun. They get up on the wrong foot, feel heavy, and become irritable. When the connection with the sun is broken, water energy in the body begins to evaporate. And when water energy evaporates, sensitivity increases. People who wake up after 6 or 7 a.m. are overly sensitive. They're constantly irritated, nervous, and feel unwell. If someone goes to bed late, the energy of prana diminishes. If a person sleeps after 10, they don't have enough air energy. Their willpower weakens. When a person lacks water energy beyond a critical level, they may start drinking alcohol or cheating. Why do they cheat? Because they overheat internally. A lack of water energy means psychological overheating. In men, this overheating leads to overstimulation of sexual functions. They feel a constant need for sex. If their wife isn't interested, they start looking elsewhere. The second option is alcohol. Women don't usually drink when they lack water energy. Instead, they blow up emotionally. They become extremely irritable, sensitive, and withdrawn. At a certain level of water energy deficiency, a woman simply cannot live with another person. She wants to be alone. She's tired of people. Young lady with beautiful blonde hair in the third row, you have a significant lack of water energy. It's difficult for you to be around others. You want to be alone. Did I say it right? Have you been to an astrologer? What did they say? The cross of solitude?
I pray. I do healing practices and recite prayers.
You don't need to perform healing practices. You need to sit in water.
I don't want to.
We've touched on a very important topic in your life. A lack of water energy can affect your health. Then inflammation begins, which you already have. The second area it affects is personal life. It causes very high emotional sensitivity, and you can't build relationships. That's also your case. Or work. You're fine with work. You don't have problems there. But in your health, there are inflammatory issues. In your personal life, extreme sensitivity. You say, I can't go into the water. That's right, because when water energy becomes extremely low in the body, entering water triggers an intense energetic reaction. It feels like an explosion, an overstimulation caused by water contact. This is called decompensation. You're no longer able to tolerate water because your system becomes too overstimulated. You start to shake, feel cold. I'm guessing any water under 31 degrees Celsius feels cold to you, right?
All water feels cold to me.
Even hot water?
No, 28 degrees is fine.
You need to make yourself go into the pool. Shiver at 28 degrees, but don't be afraid. Nothing bad will happen to you.
I've had a fear of water since childhood.
I'm telling you that fear comes from your decompensation. You enter the water and your body trembles because water energy moves through your system with intense tension. And this will only go away after a year. If you go swimming once a week, in a year your decompensation will subside. Then you'll even be able to gradually lower the water temperature. And you'll feel comfortable in the water. It will change your entire life. After swimming for a couple of weeks, you'll need to start doing static exercises. When a person holds the body in a still position, water energy already present in the body begins to circulate, cleansing blockages and aligning everything.
I do static exercises every day.
With those static exercises, you're actually using up even more water energy because you're not absorbing it, you're just circulating it, but there's no intake. You might think, here's another schizophrenic who came to our city to sell something. He's just trying to make money off the population. I picked someone I don't know personally. Do I know you? Have we talked about this before?
No, but I know you through your lectures. I listen to them every day.
If you listen to my lectures, then I know you too. We're not personally acquainted, only virtually. I'm telling her this because I can see it. I could also tell you what you're lacking and why your relationships aren't working. You're nodding your head. You're lacking sun energy. That's why you get so upset and disappointed in relationships. You're in the third row. That disappointment is your problem. A lack of solar energy doesn't mean you need to go to the tropics. It's replenished through love for others. You need to wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness. We don't repeat it for no reason. Why do we say it? It's a positive mindset. It helps channel sun energy through yourself. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much and see you soon.